On this digital media clip, we're going to carry on our journey towards excellence. And to understand the journey towards excellence, we have to start looking at our culture maturity, our system maturity, our consistent conversations, our style of leadership, and how that affects our real performance. So to do this, we have to go back to our first leadership video and start where we ended with our journey to excellence S-curve. So you'll remember we took the Bradley curve, which was a negative focus safety performance curve, and flipped it on its head. We turned it upside down and put all the negatives below the line. We then drew our journey to excellence through the zero harm line and up to an area where safety excellence was what we do around here, and everything else would just be falling far short. Now, as we do that, we also have to recognize that our culture maturity improves too. So on the left-hand vertical axis of our graph, we have the HSE culture maturity model, which starts at the bottom with pathological, where we work through reactive organizations, through systematic, where we have lots of systems and we don't trust our people, through proactive, where we push out to the workforce our ownership and responsibility for change and safety, right through into a generative organization where we're growing and moving from within. Alongside that, we can start with the ISO model, which looks at assessment, awareness, initiation, development, internalization, and desired state. And they very much describe for us the culture maturity of our business and our systems. And we can move to the right-hand side of the performance curve and add an extra axis where we can look at our consistent conversations that happen within the business. Are we the kind of organization that polices? Are the kind of organization that teaches, advises, mentors, or coaches? This starts to help us understand as a business whether we're very much focused on transactional management, transitional management, or transformational change. The challenge is when we start to think about what kind of culture we deserve. And here's where things get interesting. If we overlay logical levels on top of the S-curve, you can start to see some of the challenges we have as a business. Because an organization is best defined by the consistent behaviors of its people. But its people consist of every single person in the business. And when you look at why we do safety, you can often see where organizations go wrong. In a pathological organization, we use policing as an approach to create a safe environment, and that's very much focused on minimum compliance and away from motivated safety. As we mature as an organization, we move from pathological through to reactive. Now, a reactive organization, they're great at accident investigations. We're constantly looking at what we got wrong and then reteaching and retraining our individuals to behave in a different way. So organizations that are reactive can stay reactive for quite a while, consistently making the same mistakes without learning. But as organizations mature, we tend to fall into the next trap, and that's the systematic trap. And as you'll notice from the S-curve, our ability to improve slows down. And that's because we try and proceduralize a human being. Our risk assessments, our method statements get so wordy and so weighty, our ability to move forwards and be innovative is stifled by our need to have a system to manage it. In a systematic organization, we employ supervisors to tick lots of boxes. That's about getting the right people in the right place with the right skills. It's capability focused. Now, if the only thing he ever sees is paper and boxes to be ticked, what is the possibility he's going to influence behaviors on the ground? A systematic organization makes the mistake of believing the piece of paper keeps us safe, and we forget the fantastic skills of our supervisors. The next development for us as an organization is to move from systematic to proactive. And we often hear organizations saying we need to be more proactive. We need our people to find the answers. And in a proactive organization, we have to push the locus of control and the ownership of health and safety right out to every single person in the business. And as every single person in the business gets involved, our ability to change significantly increases. And this is why when you look at the S curve, it doesn't just saunter across the zero harm line. And this is the leap of faith of realizing that systems can't keep us safe on their own. We have to create a culture and environment based on trust, ownership, responsibility, but also innovation and challenge. That's why the S curve suddenly increases in its capability to deliver excellence, because everybody has a great idea and everybody has the solutions. So creating workplace mentors that share our beliefs and values, that lead by example and focus on the positives and remember all the triggers that create unsafe behaviors and keep reminding people to look for the good in others is how we leap from being a systematic organization to a proactive organization. The final epiphany is recognizing that out-of-the-box thinking isn't something we do naturally as an organization or as an individual. And this is where organizations that are generative, they grow from within, require coaches. Coaching and a coaching culture requires us to think well outside the box that we're conditioned to stay inside. Mentoring is a good way of creating great behaviors and great performance most of the time. But coaching challenges us to look well outside our current set of norms. Coaches are trained and focused very much on challenging our beliefs and values and consistently reflecting on them, but also helping us understand our sense of identity as an individual, as a team, and a business, and challenging us to achieve a higher sense of purpose for ourselves, our colleagues, and the whole organization.